Welcome to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness, the podcast where we're tearing up the rule book of conventional wellness because one size fits all never fits everyone. I'm your host, Jo Swenson, integrative health coach, herbalist, and the CEO and founder of Olivia Bell, a comprehensive lifestyle wellness company. Today, we're tackling a myth that's done more harm than good: work-life balance. Yes, that godforsaken little phrase that makes us feel like we're supposed to be giving equal amounts of our attention to work, our family, our partners, our kids, the laundry pile, inbox, skincare routine, and whatever else you have going on in your life. I want to ask the question, is work-life balance a lie? Let's do a little history detour because I think it's important that we understand where this came from. The actual phrase work-life balance didn't even exist until 1986. It popped up in an article in Industry Week where a consultant discussed the growing struggle managers faced in achieving a mythical balance between professional activities and personal interests. Before that, it was all work and leisure. Even Aristotle suggested that work should serve the purpose of achieving leisure and honor. But the idea of balancing it all, well, we can attribute that to the Welsh industrialist Robert Owen. Back in the 1800s, he advocated for 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest, and 8 hours of whatever you wanted to do. Now, that sounds great in theory, but in today's world with cell phones, the internet, and all sorts of technology, let's be honest, that's just not feasible. We throw around work-life balance like it's the golden ticket to sanity. But the truth is, the pursuit of balance itself is often what's draining us. Most of us are struggling to handle our jobs, family, aging parents, a side hustle, our own wellness goals, not to mention the micro decisions we're making all day long. That mental load leads to decision fatigue, boundary collapse, and basically a nervous system shutdown. You might be in bed for 6, 8, 10 hours a night, but if your mind is racing or you've crashed from a day of nonstop overfunctioning, that's not balance and you're not getting quality sleep. Here are my arguments for why I think work-life balance is setting us up to fail. It assumes everything gets equal weight. Work, health, family, whatever else we have going on gets an equal percentage of our attention. But what really happens is that you go to bed later or end up waking up earlier to make sure that everything gets done the way it's supposed to get done. Number 2, the truth is our priorities change daily. Daily life is not static. It's messy, beautiful, and sometimes chaotic. There are so many outside influences and variables that ensures no 2 days in life are alike. So how can you maintain balance? And number 3, it breeds guilt. We start to believe that if we're not perfectly balancing everything, we're failing. When the reality is we're just human beings. Balance ends up becoming a performance metric with a daily evaluation. This chronic imbalance typically shows up as exhaustion, but it's the kind of exhaustion that sleep alone cannot fix. Our nervous systems are overloaded because we're on 24/7, thank you technology, and there's that unrealistic expectation that we have to do it all. Our bodies end up running on fumes, and if you're randomly falling asleep in the car line, you really need to start making some changes. Look, I know firsthand how hard this is. I had to make the switch from doing it all to slowing down. I was the textbook example of a type A person. For years, I was an overachiever who thought perfection and that all-in approach to work and to life was how things were supposed to be. Until my body gave me the middle finger and said, nope. You see, I was on Ambien for years because I suffered from insomnia. I ended up with gut issues and a myriad of other health problems. The truth was, I didn't need more productivity hacks. I needed recovery rituals and realistic expectations. If you don't make that switch away from work-life balance, you run the risk of ending up being sick, like me. There was a research study done in 2017, and it said that chasing balance actually increases our stress and job dissatisfaction. Why? Because the end goal is always moving. If the quest for work-life balance is failing, what's the alternative? I would like to give the argument for harmony. Instead of balance, what we want is work-life harmony. Harmony is a musical metaphor that I love to use because it makes space for flow, not perfection. In harmony, everything doesn't have to be equal. It just has to work together. Think about this. Some days your job needs more of you. Other days it's your family or there's a crisis going on. And other times, who knows? It's impossible to achieve balance if those things keep cropping up. And those things, well, that's life. If we start thinking about life as a playlist, go with me on this. Some days it's all about that bass. Some days it's a drum solo. Other days you've got family vocals. And finally, we're going to have those days where we just can't get no satisfaction no matter what we do. You see, the magic is in how the tracks of our playlist flow together when the playlist is on shuffle. Every day, your favorite songs are shuffling. They're in a different order, but somehow they flow together. In 2011, there was a study done in a business journal called the Journal of Management. It suggested that shifting away from balance to enrichment was better because the parts of our lives that support and fulfill us should not be competing against one another. When we use harmony, it allows us to ask the question, what needs more of me right now? Not how do I do it all perfectly today? If you're ready to ditch finding balance and ready to start shuffling, then here's how you get it together. I'm going to offer you a 5-step plan, super simple. And the best part is you can start doing it today or tomorrow or the next day. You don't have to buy anything. You just have to look inward. Step 1, I want you to check your energy, not your calendar. Each morning when you wake up, ask yourself, where is my energy best spent today? If you've had a crappy ass night of sleep, you know you're not able to give 100%, but ask yourself, where is the best place to give my energy? Is it work? Is it rest? Is it connection or movement? But where can your energy best be spent for the day? Alongside that is step number 2, and that is to name a non-negotiable. Start with one, add more as you learn to adapt. But your non-negotiables are things that you are going to do that day come hell or high water. It could be 10 minutes of quiet time, drinking enough water to stay hydrated, or maybe it's just spending some time with your partner. Start with one non-negotiable, work your way up. Number 3, I want you to shift away from daily routines and focus more on, let's call it a weekly groove. If we focus more on achieving weekly goals and not daily routines, it gives us more opportunities. Routines are rigid and they break under pressure. If we miss one or part of a routine, we end up sacrificing our sleep to compensate, not to mention we beat ourselves up. If we start to get into a groove, those are going to be more flexible and they bend. And think about it. As you're grooving along, you're moving. You're not rigid. Right? I'm going to give you an example. Meatless Mondays. I know a lot of people out there like to start their week off on a healthy note, and they try to focus on a meatless dinner for them and their family. Well, something happens and you're stuck late at work, or the grocery order didn't come in, or whatever the case may be. If you can't do a meatless Monday, you can shift it to Tuesday. That weekly groove allows you to ebb and flow with what's going on. So think about grooving through the week instead of having a rigid routine. Number 4, this one's going to piss off my martyrs because I know there's plenty of you out there, but I want you to set realistic expectations. Don't suffer silently alone. If you know this week is heavy on work or heavy on family commitments, you know you're going to need help from somebody else. Have the conversation with your boss, your partner, your roommate, the kids, whoever you need to, so that you can get on the same page, because this is how harmony works with communication, not martyrdom. If you live with the thought in your head that you have to do it all by yourself without help from anybody, you are lying to yourself and you're kidding yourself. If you've been living this way for a while, you've pushed people away and they're not going to offer to help you. Why? Because you just end up doing it yourself anyways, and so they don't know what to do. You've caused this cycle on your own. And so many of us that have spent years trying to achieve work-life balance have put ourselves in these situations. So reach out to those people. They want to help. They just don't know how. Reach out to them. Have the conversations. Get them to help you. It's not going to be perfect. It just has to get us through. The last thing is I want you to forgive a lot, whether that's to yourself or the person you've reached out to for help. We're not robots. Nothing is going to go perfectly. We're never going to have that balance. We have to have that flow, that harmony, that groove, because we're human beings with real needs, real emotions, and life does not always go as planned, and that is okay. The question I asked at the beginning, is work-life balance a lie? I'm going to say a resounding yes. If you think work-life balance is reality, I'm calling bullshit. I'm telling you, you've been sold a bill of goods, because it is not realistic. In fact, if anything, it's draining us, it's messing up our sleep, and it's causing us to be very unhappy people. What we need to do is give ourselves permission to live in harmony, to start finding the groove, finding the flow with work, our family, our health, and start supporting each other. Forget perfect, focus on connection, go for honest, and start shuffling the daily playlist. If this episode hit home for you and you're ready to stop chasing balance, share this with a friend who's always trying to get it together, because they don't need more color-coded planners. What they need is this hard, honest truth. And if you want more grounded, honest, no BS wellness support, come hang out with me on our socials or head over to our website at olivia-bell.com, and be sure to follow this podcast so you can get notifications of our weekly podcast episodes. I hope you make time today for some peace, some plants, and some paws. Thank you so much for listening to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness.